Canadian winters and snowmobiling go hand in hand, and sledders in southeastern Manitoba are being called upon in support of the 7th annual Sled For Eternity event. This annual pledge ride is a major fundraiser for the nonprofit group Teen Challenge. Daniel Emond is the development director for the Central Canada region of Teen Challenge, an organization that's been helping young people overcome addiction for decades.
Well, Teen Challenge is a faith-based, Christian-based ministry that started over 50 years ago in 1958. And the ministry is for people that struggle with life-controlling addictions, drugs, alcohol, gambling, any kind of life-controlling addiction. Teen Challenge offers residential treatment programs as well as community outreach programs that bring people hope.
Daniel has been employed with Teen Challenge for the past 7 years, and like many of his colleagues on staff, was at one time a student in the program. Daniel can trace his battle with addiction back to a single incident when he was still in his early teens.
You know, I look back when it was that first wrong decision. I was 13 years old and succumbed to peer pressure. I remember it was yesterday in a basement of a friend's house with a girl that I liked, and my friend's two older, his brother and his friend that were 3 or 4 years older than us, had pulled out a marijuana joint and then basically offered it to us, and it was 4 of us, me and my friend and his girlfriend and my girlfriend, 13 years old, and everyone else was doing it. So I opened that door and I tried it, and it didn't seem to be a big thing.
What seemed at the time as no big deal would manifest into a life or death struggle for Daniel. A family tragedy would become the catalyst for his spiral into a world of addiction, illegal drug use, and brushes with the law.
My father, who was 44 years old, was diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And that was kind of the first time that I had to face the question of what happens when you die, and what's going to happen to my dad, what's going to happen to my family. Is it just that's it? He lives for, and then all of a sudden he dies, and that's what this life's all about, kind of thing. And I started to ask those questions, like, what's the point? I was in first year of university. I wanted to be a doctor, and here I'm asking these questions of, what's the point? Why would I go to university for 10 years, or potentially 5 to 10 years, if I could die tomorrow? And I didn't have any answers. My family didn't have any answers. It was hopeless. And so the only thing that I knew that would take away the pain was doing drugs.
Daniel's drug use quickly escalated from marijuana to cocaine. Within 6 months after using cocaine for the first time, he was arrested and was facing charges that could have landed him a lengthy prison term.
I had been caught with a large amount of drugs from that first time that I was arrested by the police. It wasn't until 5 years later. I calculated I spent probably almost $200,000 specifically on crack cocaine in those years, and basically hurt everybody that was in my life tremendously. I tried everything on my own strength to stop, and nothing helped.
Until Daniel was introduced to the Teen Challenge program.
I was, at a point where I was homeless, except for if I wanted to sell drugs. So I was living in a drug house selling cocaine. Christmas Eve 2005 was when I received a phone call where a person was basically threatening to end my life because of drugs and all that goes with it. And this person was serious. And I just remember breaking down crying and running out of the house and running. I actually jumped on a bus and went home. And my mom was scared. My mom wouldn't let me into her house. She said, "I'll take you out for coffee." So she brought me to Tim Hortons. And, I was telling my mom, like this is a very serious situation, and I don't know what's going to happen, but most likely you might not ever see me again, kind of thing. And she just broke down crying, in Tim Hortons, and I remember, very clearly as I look back.
The chance encounter that took place next would change Daniel's life forever. A man and a woman entered the coffee shop. The man was not a stranger.
I hadn't seen for 3 years, but I knew this man. He was my cellmate in jail 3 years prior.
His name was Jason, and at that time had been through the Teen Challenge program himself and was working as an intern staff member.
That night, he was at church, and after church came to the coffee shop, and as he saw me, he just kind of wrapped his arms around me and said, "I need to talk to you," and he told me to go sit down with my mom, and him and his friend came over, and he shared his testimony about how God had brought him to Teen Challenge and how God had changed his life, and how whatever I was doing I didn't have to do anymore, and that Teen Challenge might be the place for me. And so that started my journey, and like I say, it's been almost 9 years now, 8 years now, that since I walked through the doors of Teen Challenge.
Aside from overcoming his issues with addiction, the past several years have brought huge changes in Daniel's personal life.
I married Katie in July of 2008, and then we had Bella, our daughter, in June of 2009, and Stephen in May of 2010.
It's been quite a journey for Daniel, and he often reflects on the opportunity now afforded him to help others who are walking a path that he is all too familiar with.
Working at Teen Challenge for seven years now, and we've seen it has, addiction it has no respecter of persons or titles or who you are or where you come from or who your dad is, or it doesn't matter. The best part of my job is being able to come to southeastern Manitoba on a weekly basis and share with the community, the people, the businesses, how well the students that come from southeastern Manitoba are doing in the program. And there are a very high percentage of the students that we work with are from southeastern Manitoba. And it's so encouraging every time I come out, especially to Steinbach. I actually get to go and have coffee with guys that have graduated, and they're buying me coffee, and they're now giving back. They're now they know that it's helped their lives, and they wouldn't be where they are today without it.
Sledders can support the Teen Challenge organization by participating in the upcoming Sled For Eternity event. Aside from supporting the work being done by Teen Challenge, riders will have the opportunity to take home some fantastic prizes.
The prizes are amazing. This year we're giving away a brand new 2014 snowmobile. We're giving away a trip. We're giving away, there's a hot tub.
For information on the Sled For Eternity event, head to www.teenchallenge.tc. You could be the one to help save a life.
If I hadn't made that choice, the choice to come into Teen Challenge when that opportunity arose, I don't think I would be alive today. That's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I know I would be dead if there wasn't that Teen Challenge door that opened.
For Steinbach Online, I'm Karen Black.